All right, so cool. Do you want to hit them with your headlines for the week?
Yeah, so this week, I think it's something we've not really spoken about. I mean, it's obviously been going on for quite a while, but, you know, Marcus Rashford's birthday just passed as well. So I thought it would be quite poignant for us to just mention all the good work he's been doing for the kids, the youth them.
Did you think that, did you?
I did, you know. Like,
okay, fair enough.
I just had it just came to me you know what?
Really?
Because I saw like a lot of birthday posts about him this week. I was like, you know what? We actually haven't mentioned it about how good of a job he's done. Like, he's doing what certain prime ministers should be doing.
Oh, shots.
But that's neither here nor there. Lockdown 2.0 is coming. Let them not extend it because they heard the Top Bins pod and all that.
Hold on, that just reminded me. Please, may the listeners be advised that we're recording this before Lockdown 2.0 is in full effect, and we're not breaking any coronavirus rules.
It doesn't matter because I live alone, so I'm in your support bubble.
Jeez, tell them again.
Unfortunately, I'm in your support bubble. I tried to.
Where was this energy in your Snapchat and your thing when you were posting up dinner?
Listen. wait. Did you cook the dinner?
Relevance.
You're acting like it's
relevance.
Okay, cool. Cool. But no, back to the topic.
Yes.
So obviously,
it's money. I forgot it.
No, Marcus Rashford
together perfectly.
Feeding the kids, the hungry kids.
Yeah, but obviously, you know me. I have to drop in bars whenever I can, and obviously, you said back to the topic. That's a song. If you don't know, get Rashford.
You know, when back in the day, I'd just be thinking, I'm just gonna cut all this out right now.
I'm editing this week.
But yeah, so Rashford, like I say, he's doing an amazing job. He's really championed the Feeding the Kids initiative and free school lunches. And it's great to see all the hard work from people all over the UK, really. A lot of people over half term been putting together lists of, if you're in London, if you're in Sheffield, if you're in Manchester, if you're in Leeds, wherever you are, these are the places that you can go. These are the criteria, like it might be between 12 and 2, 12 and 4, 2 and 4, whatever it may be. But as a kid, if you were entitled to free school meals, you can go to this place and get free school meals over half term. So hopefully that's worked out well. And hopefully we see a change to the point where this isn't needed to be pushed through by Marcus Rashford. He's obviously going to champion it for a long, long time, but he shouldn't have to do it. But it's great to see him do it. So I just thought, you know what? Well done, Marcus Rashford.
He needs to put more respect on his name. Sir Marcus Rashford MBE.
If he's Sir, he then wouldn't be MBE, but that's neither here nor there.
Listen, I don't know how these men move in these whatever. Brother, Sir Marcus Rashford MBE, please.
Again.
Okay, Marcus Rashford MBE.
Okay.
Put respect on his name.
Okay, yeah, cool. I don't really accept like British Empire stuff, but you know.
I mean, that's what you seem to know more about it than I did. You're the one who said, oh, if he's Sir, he can't be. So
I know about history, British history, African history.
Man, watch 1 2-hour video on YouTube and you think you're a flipping professor now.
But
now, of course, Marcus Rashford's doing his thing. Yeah.
So on to the next topic, which is probably quite apt at the moment because Burnley seem to be in free fall, and obviously there's a lot of noise that they didn't spend any money. They're sell to buy a club. So it's been 8 years now since Daesh has been in charge, and he's obviously done an amazing job. They're a Premier League team now. They are a mainstay in the Premier League, but they're kind of reaching a stage where they are stagnating a bit, and they're not of the caliber to make that jump up. But if they don't continuously improve, because teams around them, like Aston Villa spent almost 70, 80, 90 million this season, they're obviously going to go above you in terms of quality. So then you need to start thinking about how are we going to improve to stay within the Premier League. But they are subject to a takeover bid, a 200 million takeover bid from an Egyptian businessman, Mohammed El Kahashi. So I can't pretend to know much about him, but to be honest, whenever you see foreign investment in a club, you hope that it will lead to investment into the club transfers. It doesn't always work out that way. Look at the Glazers. But you hope that by him buying a club, he's saying, you know what, this is a team with potential. All they need is a bit more investment, and we've got a good manager. If you just trust him and back him, he can push us to the next level, which is aiming to get your 7th, 8th, 9th in the Premier League. But I don't think there's much more to be said on that. I think it's not necessarily close to over the line, but it's waiting the seal of approval, apparently, whatever that means. But I mean, Newcastle's takeover bid was seemingly awaiting the seal of approval, but that didn't go through. So watch this space on that one.
Could I just interject with a topic on that note then?
Go on.
To do with Newcastle, obviously, again, not really much to say on this right now, but my understanding is that a support group from Newcastle actually basically sent legal documents to the Premier League, kind of suggesting that they broke competition law, essentially by blocking the takeover. Obviously, I mentioned back when we spoke about this, I thought that wasn't going to be the last that we had heard about it. It's crept up a little bit again. Now, not as exciting news as I was hoping for, but again, what's interesting about all of that is obviously this Egyptian guy's trying to buy Burnley. The Saudis tried to buy Newcastle. Again, little segue into another topic, which was to do with the fact that the top six clubs, met up with Richard Masters and kind of the execs of the Premier League without the other 14 clubs involved to talk about the fallout of Project Big Picture. And I just find it quite interesting that on one hand, you've got the Premier League big dogs, if you like, meeting up to discuss Project Big Picture and effectively how you can keep the power with the big six. Within the big six, yeah. And then on the other hand, you've got Newcastle, who had a failed takeover bid because apparently the Premier League vetoed it. Burnley, obviously, we'll see what happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if that went down a similar road because obviously, again, what's happening with Project Big Picture and how heavily invested the Premier League seems to be involved in. I mean, not even necessarily trying to get that over the line, but just trying to appease the big six clubs. You get what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty smooth segue into those two topics there. What else have you got for them?
Last one, again, sort of calling back to Newcastle. It was a bit of a cheeky one, to be honest, because it was Mike Ashley, the guy everyone loves to hate, calling for a change in the pay-per-view pricing. So I think we called it out that $14.95 was ludicrous, that maybe a fiver you might pay. And that's the sentiment Mike Ashley shared. He mentioned that it should be $4.95 per pay-per-view game. But in addition to that, which I thought was where the penny dropped for me, he was also calling on, I think it was the government specifically, to drop the VAT on the PPV pay-per-view games. So for me, that's a bit like, okay, so that's why you want to get involved. You're trying to levy the government to drop a bit of VAT, and somehow, some way, I don't know how you're going to flip that into more money in your pocket, but that's what you're going to do. But yeah, I mean, it's really echoing what the fans have been saying. Yeah. It's really echoing some of the good protests that have been going on. Don't know if you saw, I think it was close to like 100k that was raised for the Liverpool-Sheffield United game, where fans, instead of actually paying $14.95 or whatever it is, $14.99, they were then donating what they would have paid to food banks. Yeah. So that's just great news again. As we go into lockdown 2.0 again, a lot of people are going to suffer. A lot of people are going to lose a third of their monthly income potentially going to have to rely on food banks. So it's good to see that people are putting their money where their mouth is and saying, we don't want to just give the money to the Premier League or to these big corporations who can survive. Yeah. Let's put it in the pockets of people who are struggling right now. So you love to see it, to be honest. You do.
And kind of again on that topic, if you like, I don't know if you saw as well, but it was quite interesting that Sky and BT both came out in condemnation of pay-per-view, basically kind of absolving themselves of any, not responsibility, but any kind of, we were never on board with this in the first place.
Shifting the blame.
It was all the Premier League that were kind of pushing it on us and $14.95 and blah, blah, blah. But I think it's good that a lot of fans of clubs have, I'm not saying, they've boycotted, but then obviously they've boycotted for a good reason, as you said. A lot of clubs donating to charities and doing good deed with the money that they would have otherwise spent, putting it to better use, if you like.
That is the one reason I've not bought into any of the pay-per-views, to boycott.
Of course. Anyway, I think that's all we got for any news that came up regarding the Premier League over the last week. As always, people will keep on top of that and discuss them as a top talking point on the Top Bins Pod.